Hello, and welcome back to another Tuesday Truth with Thera-Mom. I'm Kelly Richardson, and happy September. Although I think for most of us parents, a happier September would be if our teenagers were back in the classroom with their friends and their teachers and their activities, and we know that would give them a happier heart, and that would be a happy September. But it is what it is, and we are just having to make do with the best, and that is online learning right now. So I was walking my dog the other day, and somebody yelled across the street, "Hey Kelly, do a Tuesday Truth on how to motivate my teenager in distance learning." So that's what today is going to be. I'm going to give you 4 little tools, tips, steps to help your teenager feel more motivated. Because we can't motivate them if they aren't feeling motivated themselves. One of the things that often people think is that motivation is this feeling that's going to wash over our teenager. And so often it's more of a choice. And the choice is they have to buy into the importance of doing well in whatever they're trying to do, and then they'll be motivated. School requires discipline and hard work, and having our kids buy into that value is what motivates them. So often parents will bring their kids in to see me and they'll say, well, they're not motivated. Well, when I talk to the teenager, they may be motivated. It just might not be in the direction of what the parent wants. Maybe they're motivated, into video games, and their parents want them to be motivated into schoolwork. So what we have to look at is motivation cannot be forced, and the goal is to increase their motivation. And that typically comes when they take ownership for whatever they need to do. So often, like the most motivating factor of whatever we're doing is a taste of success. So we feel motivated if we have a taste of success in our schoolwork, in our sports, in our social life. We feel more motivated when we feel successful. So here's 4 very simple tips as we're in this place of distance learning to help your teenager become more motivated. Not to force or threaten or punish or manipulate or overpreach to them. And so often parents do these things thinking we're going to motivate them, and typically it makes things worse. They have to choose to be motivated in for whatever reason. Even if I'm motivated because I just want to be done, even if I'm motivated because I don't really like this class, but I know I have to get it done, that's the motivation. We want them to be motivated. We can't force them to be motivated. That has to be something that they own. So 4 simple steps, tools, tips on how to help your teenager become more motivated. The first one is, it's a great life lesson that when we work, we get paid. So we can use this in a way of saying to our teenager, when you finish your homework, you can see your friends. When you finish your schoolwork, you can take a break to play a video game. When you finish emptying the dishwasher, you are welcome to go to Dutch Bros to get a drink. Using that when you finish. So there's the thing that they have to get done. Then you will get whatever you want to do. Go to Dutch, play a video game, see your friends. But that only comes when you do the work first. And the work is schoolwork, helping out at home, those kind of things. So when we add that, when you do your work, just like when we as adults do our work, we get paid. Well, their sense of payment is they get to see their friends, or they get to play a video game or take a nap or whatever they want. But it's a great lesson in teaching them to own what they want by doing what they need to first. The second is to help them establish like a structured schedule that allows them to taste success. And that schedule is more about helping them develop a balance. It's not a punishing schedule. It's not a schedule that makes them feel minimized in what is important to them. It's more of a schedule that creates the feeling of being successful. And that is a balance. And the balance is in school time, family time, playtime, and sleep time. And if we can help them develop a structure with that, so often they're going to be motivated to do well because they know that after school time maybe comes playtime or nap time or family time, and they can develop that sense of ownership for whatever it is that they want by having that balance of the things that matter. The third thing, tooltip step, is that we would need to be aware of their anxiety level. And we have to recognize that so often, so much of our children's lack of motivation, and so often parents think that they're being irresponsible or lazy, and it's not usually that. So often it's anxiety or shame around academics or previous situations academically, or situations with their schoolwork where they got super frustrated. And kids aren't able to usually verbalize that. So often anxiety can be misinterpreted by parents as like a lousy attitude, or maybe lack of motivation or irresponsibility, when more often than not, it's a cover-up for really vulnerable emotions that take the form of when our teenagers kind of shut down or explode or avoid, or even get defiant. Like a little bit of anxiety is good, because so often that can motivate teenagers to do their work. If they feel a little anxious, like I feel like I'm not going to have enough time, maybe they'll get their project done a little sooner. But when it becomes too much anxiety, it actually blocks the part of their brain that helps them think clearly and accesses the part of the brain that motivates them. And so when they feel overwhelmed, then so often, and it's too much anxiety, the response is just to push back against it instead of trying to figure out a way to get done what they need to. So as parents, what we can do is to calmly, that's a really important word, calmly talk to our teenagers about how to get their work done. And maybe we have to help them with, seeing everything they need to do and doing it in manageable chunks, breaking assignments down in ways that they feel like they can actually, kind of see what's due, so they just don't feel overwhelmed with everything. Maybe getting a big calendar and helping them write out either what they have to do in a day or what is coming up in the next couple months, so they don't feel so anxious. When we allow them that ability to kind of see it, it allows them to stay organized and to not feel overwhelmed. So we can help them with these little tools that reduce the anxiety, and also, teaching them to build in breaks and to build in playtime and downtime, because those are the things that, kind of alleviate and de-stress us. Okay, the fourth thing is, as parents, this is what we're all guilty on, and but we just need to be reminded of this. I'm so guilty of this, and I have to remind myself of this all the time. And that's when we feel like our teenager isn't motivated, to not fixate on the future. So often we focus on the negative things our child is doing, and we spotlight, that they're not doing enough, or they're not doing this good enough, or we're concerned about this. We're focused on where they're not doing well, when the most important thing is to focus on the things that they do well. And most of our kids are going to be just fine. But we fixate on the future. Like, we think that if they're doing bad in science and we catastrophize it, that they're never going to leave the house. They're going to live with us when they're 40. And that's not going to happen. We can't fixate. None of us have this magic ball, crystal ball, that we can see into the future. But we can help our children develop the ability to see that, they do hold in their hand the ability to work hard, to find a passion, to do things like volunteering, and do other things besides schoolwork. That it's not just about the grades that matter. We want them to hold in their hand the ability to find the things that make them happy, to pursue them, that they have that ability, and they can figure it out right now. We don't need to be so focused on the future and so worried about the future that so often we miss the good things that are happening right now. Maybe you can tell your kid, maybe they're a great cook, or maybe they're a great counselor to their friends, or maybe they're compassionate with animals, maybe they're really good with their hands, maybe they can fix cars. Identify the things that they do well instead of just focusing on the future and catastrophizing it and making them feel like if they don't do well in school, that everything's going to be awful and they're going to be terrible and they're never going to have a future. Because they are. They're going to figure out what makes them happy, and they're going to figure out a job to do. And we just have to remember that they'll figure this journey out. It might take them a little bit longer than what you want, but they'll figure it out. So not to create that future fear right now, today, when they're doing this online learning. Let them figure it out. Let them fail if they need to struggle. I'm not saying let them fail at a class, but let them, if they struggle or they have a couple assignments and they don't do well, that's on them. They got to figure it out. And that's where the motivating factor comes, is when they realize, hey, I got to pick it up. I'm not doing well. I don't want to fail this class. I don't want to do summer school. That can be motivating for them. So that motivation has to be for them to figure out, for them to own why it's important. And we have to remember that the most important thing for us as parents is to have a good relationship with our teenager. And what does that look like? It's open, we're honest, we're respectful, and we're positive. And encouraging our teenagers to believe in themselves and stay positive, work hard, and to know that this distance learning is not easy, and that we hope that they are just doing the best they can, and we love them regardless. So today's Tuesday Truth, 4 tips. Have a great week. As always, love on your teenagers, and I'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.